With Napoleon defeated in Europe, Great Britain could begin transferring troops to North America. One of the first objectives was to launch large-scale diversionary raids on the American coasts. The British put together a force of nearly 4,000 men under the command of Major General Robert Ross. The naval forces were under the command of Admiral Cockburn, who was an expert on the area around Chesapeake Bay. British plans were known. President Madison announced that he expected a British attack on Washington. The call went out for militia to defend Washington, while a total of 15,000 men were authorized. Unfortunately, by the time the British landed, Winder had only 1,500 men ready to fight. On August 19th, the British landed on the Patuxent River, 45 miles from the capital on a good road. On August 21st, a British column of 4,500 men set off down the road to Washington. No attempt was made along the way to stop them, but American militia, as well as sailors and Marines, were being called desperately to defend Washington. Yet the British did not stop at the American line, although they were temporarily forced to take cover from American fire. They managed, however, to outflank the American lines and turn both the left flank of the first and second lines of defense. Those holding the center of the second line were ordered to hold the line at any cost, but they were outnumbered and retreated. That left the third line, manned by sailor Marines and militia on the flanks. They held the British for a time, but when ordered to fall back, they could not carry out the order in an orderly fashion, and the lines broke, and the road was open to Washington. After 3 hours of rest, the British headed the 7 miles to Washington. On arriving in Washington, the British set fire to the White House and the Capitol. Dolly Madison barely left the White House ahead of the British carrying the portrait of Washington. The burning of Washington ended when a freak storm stopped the fires, and the British, who were under explicit orders not to hold any territory, withdrew the way they came and prepared for their next target.